Hello, people. It's your boy Usmaan back again with another Rival Fan podcast. Listen, it's a lot to talk about today. Get your seatbelt strapped because there's going to be a lot of discussion. Make sure you get your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're quite close to 1,000 subscribers. Anyways, today's topic, there's only one to start with, really. But before we get into it, I got to introduce the panel, the homies from 3 in midfield. We've got Kojo and Kale. What are you saying, boys?
Yeah, all good, man.
All good over here, man.
Was it Xavi and Iniesta today or what? What were we saying?
Come on, you know the vibes. You know the vibes.
Or Pogba, Bruno, whichever you prefer. I don't know which one's better, but it is what it is.
More Patrick Vieira, Paul Scholes, maybe that,
Yeah.
We'll
Dream 11 team.
We'll accept that two balls. And below me, the homie from the most irrelevant club in London is Ed. What you say, bro?
Damn.
I mean, there's intros and then there's that, man. Calm down, man. Listen, I've just seen the team sheet against Wickham, innit? Man like Gareth Bale starting and that. You might have to give me that t-shirt back ASAP. You know what I mean?
Oh, God. And last but not least, the homie's been on before. Thank you for coming back on. The boys, what you saying, bro?
Thanks for having me on. Obviously, not in the best mood today, but good to be on to discuss it.
Yeah, no, listen, obviously, I can imagine. Look, I've had you on Twitter for a long time. Obviously, you know, you're a bit of a troll on Twitter, but you've had Lampard's pick on your Twitter handle for a long, long time. Obviously, you've changed it to Giroud, your second love, really. And we're going to have to start with that. It's the main talking point from today. Frank Lampard has been relieved of his duties at Chelsea. We'll start with you, bro. First and foremost, what are your initial thoughts, man?
Initially, I wasn't totally surprised. I mean, I'm surprised that it's come now, just after we beat Luton, but I was surprised in the sense that the news that has come out after in regards to the players and the say they had in it and the politics behind the decision, which is being made out as if this sacking was inevitable, not just based off recent form, but actually the club were planning it from the start of last season when he was actually appointed. That's what surprised me the most, and I think that's what's kind of dampened the mood a little bit when I think a lot of Chelsea fans were actually expecting the sacking to happen anyway.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I read reports that basically after the Leicester game was the final straw. In terms of some of the players, right? I don't know if you guys seen the reports, but it seems like I think Kepa and Rudiger, from what I've read, we've got someone called terminate Rudiger's contract. Apparently, Kepa and Rudiger basically started the revolt in the changing. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, Dubai.
Yeah, I think with regards to Kepa, it was Kepa speaking up about how he didn't receive any tactical instruction, which kind of baffles me because he's a goalkeeper. I mean, what does he want to be told to jump in a certain way? I mean, that's his decision. And then you've got Rudiger, I think, played a bigger part, and I think he was the one who he caused a fight with Azpilicueta when Azpilicueta was the one trying to sort of unite the squad. So I don't know, it's those two and also Alonso, who I think he went back on the team bus at half time when he was subbed off against West Brom. So I think they're the main culprits for the player power as such.
I've got to be honest, there's one theme that I've noticed with every single one of those players you mentioned. They're all shit. That's the theme. Kepa played the other day. What did he do? What was that shit mistake? Rudiger played the game before. Instead of Zuma as being one of your best players, and then he clatters into one of your defenders, and I can't remember who scored back stick. I can't remember who it was, but the ball goes through and they score. So it's them two in particular can't talk. Alonso's been in a car crash for excuse the pun. For us, I didn't even mean to say that.
Oh, dear.
But Alonso's been out shambles. Oh, I've said it now, anyways. Yeah, but Alonso, to be fair, I'm not even wrong, though. He's been absolute shambles. He can't play and he can't drive. I might as well say that. I might as well go full send. I just said it. But some of the other players as well, they've just been shit. Like the ones that you mentioned, they shouldn't even be at the club. Like, the fact that... The way I see it, right, it's not the first time it's happened, Kish. I know you've got an opinion on this, so I'm going to come to you first and foremost. It's not the first time the Chelsea players have had this player power. We saw it with the Jose, Sarri as well, Kepa. the audacity, man. How is he allowed to talk? How is he even at the club? What he did to Sarri, man, that was disgraceful. Honestly, it really was. So, Kish, what are your thoughts, man? Like this player power nonsense as well.
To be honest, I can break it down very simplistically. It's an absolute disgrace, in my opinion. It's players, two players, Rudiger, who is not good enough. Let's be honest, he's not good enough to be in Chelsea's starting lineup at the moment, especially with Thiago Silva and Zuma. There's a partnership there that it works well, in my opinion. Under the right setup, it works well. As regards to Kepa, I mean, no coach in the world would be able to teach him to save. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. He's literally worse than what's his name, Karius. He's literally worse than Karius. The only difference is one costs 72 million and the other one costs about 2 million. So at least you can get away with that for Karius, I'm afraid. It's a shambles. I think the one thing I would say about in terms of his sacking, though, is what I don't like is Gary Neville. I don't know if you saw or listened to his interview today. He really needs to chill out with this biased opinions, because let's be honest, right? If that was any other foreign manager, he would be saying straight away, yep, 100%. Out of every single Chelsea manager, who's got the worst win percentage? Lampard. Goals conceded, worst percentage out of any manager? Lampard. If you look at all the stats for previous Chelsea managers, who's got the worst percentage-wise? It's Lampard. So then how can you justify Gary Neville? How can you then say, oh, actually, I tell you what, they should have given him more time? They gave him 18 months, which is more time that Abramovich gives most managers, to be honest. Don't forget, he sacked Ancelotti when Ancelotti came second in the league. He came second in the league. He sacked Avram Grant for getting to the final of the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? And second in the league. So he's given Lampard more time than anything. I'm not saying that Chelsea's task was to win the league this season, not at all. But they had to challenge based on last season and the money that they've spent. 100%. And they're actually closer. They're actually closer to more mid-table than challenging. They're nowhere near challenging for the league, and that's after spending 250 million. So, is it justified? Yes, that's literally the end of it, and that's what annoys me about these pundits. Be honest with yourself. Did he deserve to keep his job? No, simple as. So why complain and say, "Oh, this is what Chelsea do" and whatever? It's justified, simple as. But that's where I sit on it, anyways.
Yeah, we've got a company kind of agreeing with you, Kish, to be fair. As a United fan, I rate Chelsea's higher fire policy. It works and wins them trophies. Roman is right, in my opinion. Cody, you've heard what the two guys have said. In terms of, from the other perspective, I'm just going to throw it out here. Is there a case that he didn't get enough time? But last season, you could argue, I know a lot of Chelsea fans, last season, Chelsea fans were saying he overachieved. You know, we've spoken to a lot of Chelsea fans. They've all said it really that I've spoken to. He overachieved getting top four. It wasn't expected this season. Okay, granted, it hasn't gone right for him. I can't remember who tweeted. I think it might have been Gary Lineker, actually. Said something along the lines, the first time he's gone through a rough spell, they're not stuck by him, and they're using the analogy of might not sticking by Ali, and look, they're reaping the benefits. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they're a bit too ruthless in sacking, or do you think it's the right choice?
It's the right choice. It's that simple. I said to Beeks on his show earlier in the season that they either challenge or he gets sacked. We are in January and you're nowhere near challenging, so it's time to go. It's that simple. When it gets Luton does not save you. He should have gone after Leicester. It's very simple. There's many reasons as to why he's not got good results at Chelsea. I don't think last year overachieved. I think they lowered their expectations because he had 1 year at Derby and he took them from 6 to 6. So obviously he really did nothing there overall. Most famous for Leeds spying on his team rather than actually achieving something. So there you go with that. Came with Chelsea, finished below a United side that he should not have finished below after the restart. But more importantly, you've brought in quality players this summer. And I know sometimes it takes players to settle and gel. That takes time, of course, but at least put them in the best sort of environment, situation to try and get the best out of them. We've seen Ziyech play right wing, which is fine. That's where he plays. But then Havertz has played as a centre midfielder, as a cam, as a this, as a that. Doesn't get enough consistent game time. Werner on the left wing, knowing he's a striker. And you're doing nothing to help build his confidence as well. And someone like Mason Mount, I don't even blame Mason Mount. He's been decent this season, but people are getting onto him because you favour him over players that they feel should be getting more of a chance. I just don't feel he's given them as much of a chance as Mason Mount. That's why I think it is for me. So, he knows what it is. He was a player at Chelsea. He can't come and scream, give me an opportunity, because when you man were performing for some managers, they got removed from the scene straight away. Villas-Boas got removed. Scolari got removed. You know what I'm saying? So he knows the deal at Chelsea. He knows the club he's at, and he knows the owner. So for me, there is no excuse. He stayed just a little bit longer on the fact that he's a Chelsea legend. That's where I see it. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was based on him being a Chelsea legend and the fact that, because as a player, I think he built quite a good, strong relationship with Roman, because he's probably their greatest ever player, if we're being honest. So, yeah, but it's the right decision. It was time for him to go, and he needs to go and build experience elsewhere. I don't think coming to...
It was too soon, wasn't it? It was too soon.
Yeah, far too soon.
You know, the irony of this all is, I don't know, you've probably seen it on Twitter now, his comments about AVB. Have you seen his comments about Villas-Boas, like saying, it's too soon in his career, he should not come, he couldn't handle them, all this stuff. Look, he wasn't being disrespectful to him, but I've seen a lot of people saying Karma coming back, it's taken a while, but and he's got less win percentage than him. But in terms of the predecessor, Cahill, it seems the general consensus, obviously, is that everyone just thinks he should have got sacked. You guys have stuck by Arteta through a difficult period where a lot of fans thought he should have got sacked. I'm not even saying, And obviously, a lot of fans are back to Arteta in because he's beaten the mighty Newcastle. Do you think Chelsea pull the trigger too early? And also, let's talk Tuchel, because we know it's confirmed Tuchel is coming in. What are your thoughts on him? Do you think he's going to be the man to take him forward?
To answer the first question, no, I don't think it was too soon. I think he kind of had, when he first started, everybody assumed that he had an arrow in his back. Everybody thought that the only reason that they bought him in was because they didn't have a transfer window, and he was the only manager that was willing to take over that Chelsea side. Then he got the backing this year, as it says, the 250 plus million, and it just didn't work out. So I don't think I think he got enough time. And I think they deservedly got the sack. Tuchel coming in, I'm not sure. I mean, you either get PSG Tuchel, which was successful, but that was down to the fact that it was PSG. I mean, Unai Emery was successful, with PSG. Or you get Borussia Dortmund Tuchel, which played some nice football from time to time, but then again, didn't really win as much as he should have done with the team that he had. I'm not sure, it might be, it will be more of a success than Lampard, because he has that experience and he knows how to deal with players of a certain caliber. But will it be the success that Chelsea fans probably want? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, but let's get you an obviously there's a comment here regarding Tuchel. I didn't really want to touch on it, to be honest, because we don't know if it's factual or not, although I believe it's factual. I'm just going to say Tuchel because that's how I pronounce it. Tuchel fell out with Mbappe and Neymar over the racism incident regarding Islam, but I believe for that to be true. Obviously, again, we don't know if it's factual. That's just my personal opinion. Dubai, what do you reckon? Tuchel coming in. To be fair, Werner and Havertz in particular are probably going to benefit, you'd imagine. Obviously, German culture, etc. What are your thoughts on his appointment? It's been quite quickly as well.
Yeah, I'm honestly not so sure, because Tuchel wasn't my first choice when some of the options were related to us.
Who was your first choice?
It was Ralph Rangnick or Nagelsmann. They were my main options. I think with Tuchel, the thing is, I understand what he's done with Dortmund and PSG, but there's got to be context within that. I mean, PSG, it's like not many managers would go there and make it look easy. He's got Neymar at his disposal, he's got Mbappe at his disposal. Yeah. The one thing I do like about Tuchel is the development of younger players under him. I mean, we saw Pulisic, Dembele at Dortmund, and he used Kimpembe at PSG a lot more. And I think in that sense, he would work for us. But on the flip side, I don't think his achievements warrants as much praise as maybe it is getting by the Chelsea fan base. And that is kind of why I sort of preferred Rangnick, in the sense that, I mean, what he's done for the game in German football itself, I mean, regarded as the godfather of German football, and sort of his identity has been adopted by the managers around the world, such as Klopp and Nagelsmann himself. So, I mean, I'm not entirely convinced by Tuchel, but I'll give him a chance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying. Obviously, you've got to give the man a chance first and foremost. But in terms of what he's done in his career so far, you mentioned Pulisic there as well. Again, another person who's been out of form, although he was brilliant last season. So Pulisic, Havertz, and Werner, your main people, really. Ziyech is quality anyway, so we know he'll come good. But in terms of them three, he's going to have a massive benefit on them. And I think if you could get them playing with Kante and Kovacic behind him, I honestly don't see why Chelsea can't finish top four. I actually predicted in our prediction video at the start of the season that Lampard will get sacked at Christmas. I said you're going to get Pochettino, but obviously, you kind of missed that ball. I said you get Pochettino and you finish third, so we're still on for that potentially. But what do you reckon, in terms of expectations for him now? Do you think he needs to try and get top four, or do you think it's too far gone?
Well, I think he obviously has to try and get top four, but if you look at the teams currently in top four now, all of them are looking, I mean, maybe barring Liverpool, they all look set to finish in that top four, and it's going to be hard to sort of break through unless one of those teams sort of go on a blip, poor on a form that we did on. But the problem I have is, regardless of who we appoint, whether obviously it's Tuchel now, but whoever comes through that door, there's still players in our squad who have the capability of turning on the manager, and it will be Lampard all over again. So we could appoint anyone, and the end result will probably be the same, and Chelsea will be looking for a new manager. So I'm not entirely convinced that sacking, although yes, it was probably the best decision in terms of results, but the end result's going to be the same. We're going to have a new manager coming through the door in 18 months' time, unless we get rid of the players who are causing the divide.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's the issue with football at the moment, man. The player power is just ridiculous, man. The fact that it's the players that we mentioned as well, they shouldn't even be in the team. Like, they shouldn't even be at the club, sorry. Let me rephrase that. But, Kish, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's the right man to potentially kick him on? Does this further emphasize how much they've done Sarri dirty as well, by the way?
Yeah, I think the decision was kind of forced, to be honest, because I think the way Abramovich saw the table, Ralph, they said that he doesn't want to leave until the end of the season at Leipzig because he doesn't want to leave mid-season, which is completely understandable. He'd be going to a club where players, although there's a lot of talent, lack of confidence. Transfer window, no one wants to spend in January. He'll probably want time, so I understand why he didn't want to leave Leipzig just of yet. And I think the way Abramovich has seen it is top four is slipping away at the moment for Chelsea, particularly with the recent results, and they're going on that slide at the moment with a couple more negative results.
I still think they'll get top four.
I still think they have a very good chance, but I think Abramovich has seen it this way: that if I hire a new manager, availability, Tuchel and Allegri. If I get Tuchel right now, and most clubs always have that new manager response for the initial couple of weeks, and they have that purple patch. 3-4 wins on the spin will get them back in top four. It is literally as simple as that. It could easily.
I think they're getting top
you know
four.
what I mean? So Abramovich has seen it in that way and thought, do you know what? Out of the two managers of Allegri and Tuchel, who would suit the team better? And I think Tuchel, because of the German connection and also the way he plays his football is counter-attacking football, which Chelsea are known for, to be honest, in the past. They're not a possession-based team. They're not a defensive-based team. It's all known for their pacey wingers and playing full-on counter-attack. And I think Tuchel suits that. And then I think if, it gives him a year and a half or whatever, and then if Ralph is then available after then, I'm sure he will go. But I think based on, because I think he mentioned it, Romano, saying that he did go for Ralph, but he wasn't available at this moment in time because he didn't want to leave till the end of the season. So then Abramovich then looks at it thinking, do I sack Lampard at the end of the season and probably not get top four, or do I sack him now with someone who is available of decent quality, i.e. Tuchel, and almost guarantee that I've got a way better chance of getting top four? And I think that's what he's gone for. So you can't really blame Abramovich. And I think Tuchel at the moment is a good appointment. I don't think it's a bad decision at all.
Yeah, and I've just got the table up. I was just getting up. Shout out to Big Gun and the homie, man. ITN saying Tuchel got sacked by PSG, Leipzig, man. Obviously Nagelsmann. Listen, Nagelsmann's coming to Man United. Just leave him alone, please, for the love of God. I want him at Man United. Ollie out. Ollie In's obviously going to come give me hit shit now, boys. What it is. But anyways, listen, I'm looking at the table right now, right? And Chelsea aren't even that far off. I know Liverpool, you'd expect them to finish top four, don't get me wrong. But in terms of psychologically, they're literally only 5 points away from Liverpool. And Liverpool got Spurs next. So if Liverpool were to draw, hypothetically speaking, and Chelsea win, they're 3 points off top four practically, which is nothing. With Tuchel at the helm, as you mentioned, he's got the German connection, all the arrows on, what do you call it? Fancy football, not fancy football. Ultimate Team are green now, innit? So it's all good and happy days now. But yeah, Kodu, just to get your thoughts and kills quickly, and I'm going to move on to Man United slapping Liverpool. Yeah, just quickly, boys, what are your thoughts in terms of the new appointment? Do you think it's the right man? And do you think they can still get top 4?
First of all, I'm going to state by saying this: I do not like that man. But anyway,
You don't like what? Sorry,
I do not like that man.
Yeah, I don't either. But
yeah, but most of the point, no. In terms of what Kish was saying about the speed, anyone that watched his Dortmund team, it was all speed. It was speed. Usman Dembele, and Aubameyang. Aubameyang got his
Pulisic as well.
And Pulisic. Aubameyang raised his level under Tuchel. I think he scored like 50 signed goals under him, league goals anyway. I don't know about the rest of the competitions. Yeah. But my only thing about him is, as good as that team was, he only came away with one cup, and it wasn't a league. It was the Pokal, basically. Mm-hmm. And the thing about that is, I understand obviously Bayern's strength, but Dortmund have had sides in the last decade that should be able to challenge, and the only one that came away with a W over them in terms of winning titles twice was Jurgen Klopp. And then when he met Jurgen Klopp in Europe as well, in that stupid, crazy game when they were scoring, then Lovren was scoring, then they scored again, then Lovren scored a bullet head-on. Games like that is what you're going to have with Chelsea. Now, I think what Chelsea fans need to sort of get into their head real quick is, under him, you're going to have a lot of stressful games. It happened at Dortmund, even happened at PSG. And
a lot of PSG fans do not like him at all, man.
No, because his football wasn't convincing for them, as in the sense that you've got so much ability in that team. You shouldn't be having unconvincing wins against certain teams. Games against Marseille will be tough. Games against Monaco will be tough here and there. Games against Lyon will be tough. Not against Nims. Not against, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff that they were looking at. And they were like, well, we're not really convinced. But he's not a bad manager. I will say that for free. He's not a bad manager. And he's not a bad appointment. So in terms of the talent that they have right now, it could work. Could they get top 4 though?
I think they can now. Generally,
they can because, again, in this league, everyone's being inconsistent. We're the only team. Naturally, we're not the only team, but us and City are the only teams right now that have found a good level of consistency, followed by Leicester. So when it
all depends on Werner and Havertz. If they get the form of them two from
exactly. If they're put in the right position where they play and they're given the right environment to thrive in, then boom, you will get what they're good at and they'll get goals. But it all depends on what he does with them. But it's not a bad sentence.
His fixtures are not easy. I've just got the fixtures in front of me. Bloody hell. The first 2 you'd expect him to win, really. So it's got Wolves, Burnley, then Spurs, then Sheffield United, then Barnsley and Africa Cup. And then after that, he's got Newcastle dead, but Southampton, Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, Everton, Leeds, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool. There's a period that he's got Atletico twice, Man United, Everton, and Liverpool in the span of 3 weeks. So he's going to have to hit the ground running, isn't he, really?
Yeah, good. It's a test. That's how it should be. If you're a top manager, some people like to call him a top manager. I don't think he is, but if he's a top manager, he's going to go out there and he's going to do his thing against his teams and get a decent number of points out of these games. And then hopefully for him, be Atletico. But Atletico are informed this year. They're top of the league with ease. It's not even a contest right now in La Liga. Let's see what he does. But quite frankly, I'm not really happy with seeing him in our league, but it's what it is.
Yeah, real talk. Okay, listen, is he better than Arteta? Yes or no? What do you reckon? Come on, Kill, back your manager.
No, he's not. Yeah.
What do you reckon, Kill? As a rival fan, are you more worried now that Lampard's gone? Or were you part of the Lampard in brigade like myself? I personally think it's a disgrace. They should not have sacked him. I think they should give him a couple more years extra. He deserves the respect. He's a legend. But in terms of Chelsea as a threat, now, do you see them as a threat again, would you say?
A threat again? No, not really. Like everybody said in here, it all comes down to whether or not they get form out of Havertz and Werner. I think Havertz might come good, but I've never liked Werner in a Chelsea shirt. I mean, he's played well, but then again, I think I said at the start of the season that I didn't think he'd succeed in the Premier League.
You did,
and he hasn't so far. I'm not sure whether or not he might come good, but then it's Lingard. That's cheeky.
Lanzi, we're gonna shoot. We're gonna.
Oh, he's going to the Hammers. He's going to the Hammers.
We're gonna chat about it. Me and Kojo love Lingard, innit? But we'll talk about it shortly, don't we?
Are they a threat for the title? No. Are they a threat for Arsenal? No, because I don't know what Arsenal are doing. So it is what it is.
Oh, I respect your honesty, man. But listen, let's move on to the biggest game in the FA Cup. Manchester United 3. They said he couldn't do the big games, Kojo, but man scored a penalty when it mattered. Bruno Fernandes wins it 3-2. I don't know. No, I'm just going to allow you lot to discuss whichever team you want because, you know, Liverpool, Man United, both big teams. Dubai, we'll start with you first and foremost. You know, whatever you want to discuss, Man United, Liverpool perspective, it's up to you, bro. Where are you starting? What are your thoughts, man?
I thought Marcus Rashford impressed me the most from that game. I mean, his involvement in the both goals, 2 goals anyway, I was really impressed by. I think he gets a lot of criticism at times what he doesn't deserve. And also Mason Greenwood. I love Mason Greenwood. I think this guy has got so much criticism over the past couple of weeks because he's been out of form, but people don't put into context. I mean, I know he lost his close friend recently as well, so he's a young kid, so he's going through a lot. And that goal, I think he captioned it on Instagram. He shut up his haters. Yeah, exactly. Like, as if that was going to do anything, but I'm happy for him, to be honest. It was a good performance from United and Liverpool. Worries.
I hear you, man. Obviously, the Greenwood alongside the other youngsters, man. England, to be fair, for once, in a long time, England have got unbelievable talent, man. Obviously, Saka as well. Foden, you know, Hudson-Odoi as well. Listen, I'm excited. We didn't even mention it, but I'm excited to see Hudson-Odoi under hopefully a manager that gives him an opportunity. Because he's been one of your best players for me personally. Every time he's played, he's been influential in the game. So that's obviously a positive. But in terms of Rashford and Greenwood, listen, fantastic. You wouldn't have thought Greenwood's not scored in 10 games, man. It was a beautiful finish from him. Kish, I'll pass it to you, bro. Obviously, you know, I know you're a massive fan of Russia, but what are your thoughts on obviously either team's perspective?
Yeah, to be honest, with United at the moment, I think I said this to you yesterday. It's been a bit fortuitous, really, in terms of how they've had this momentum. Because I don't think any Man U fans, I know you guys definitely didn't. You know, I think it was the Everton game where you won 3-1 or 3-2 that kind of after the Denver Bar FC humiliation game that you guys, the confidence just came out of nowhere. And I think what's happened over time is you've seen the rest of the competition and the players have had that belief to think, do you know what? There's no one out there at the moment like previous seasons where we can think, actually, we've got no chance here. And I think that Liverpool game with the analysis that Gary Neville gave was spot on. I think you guys were the players were so shocked with what Liverpool had to offer in that league game that it's like United didn't know how to cope with it because they were expecting such a bigger task ahead. And when that didn't happen, they were shocked by it. So I feel like this game against Liverpool, the players knew and they had that confidence within them to say, do you know what? This Liverpool team isn't anything special at the moment, and they're there for the taking. And to be fair, that's what happened. I know Mo Salah had a couple of opportunities in that second half to make it 3-2, but you know, people been saying about Cavani using his, you know, it's a dive. It's a foul. It is a foul. Listen, it's clever. It's clever football. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's clever football, but it's a foul. 100%. He's moved him away from the ball. It's a foul at the end of the day. If it was the other way around, if it happened to Liverpool on the other side, no Liverpool fan would be arguing it. Let's be honest. Like it's a foul.
You got to score the penalty at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a foul. So I think at the moment this season, where United are at is there's a strong belief in that team, in my opinion, and I think a couple of things would need to happen for me to seriously consider them to challenge going forward, and that is keeping their key players fit. You keep Bruno and you keep Pogba fit, which I think are the main two players at the moment, because this is as good as I've seen Pogba in that season where he got, I think, double numbers in assists and goals. But his work rate on top of that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So his work rate is ridiculous. So if you keep those two players fit, it's lethal for you guys. But on the other side for Liverpool, I know I saw your debate on our group chat today, but listen, no matter how much you deny it, Virgil van Dijk has not only been a big miss in terms of being on the field, but off the field, because Fabinho, he is world class at centre half as well, but the midfield misses him. There isn't a midfield if you put Fabinho at centre half. I just feel like
one thing. I've got it written down on my notes, and I'm gonna say because listen. The first and foremost, right? I love this argument from Liverpool fans because from what I had to watch it back just to double check I was right. Van Dijk and Gomez played them and they lost 7-2 to Villa, by the way. They got absolutely violated that game. That was probably their worst scoreline suggests that anyways. But it should have been 10-2. Watkins missed 2 sitters, one-on-ones. And everyone's forgetting Van Dijk wasn't having a good season.
So you're basing it, but what I'm saying is you're basing it.
What I'm saying is you know what I mean? Need Van Dijk to beat Burnley, do you? You don't need Van Dijk to beat West Brom.
No, but my point is, even at that point in time, they were the top of the league. They were top of the league even at that point in time. As soon as both of them are up, they're now fourth. Do you know what I mean? They're now from first.
Listen, everyone gets injured. Yeah, but listen, for me personally, right, they're meant to be the best team that I've ever seen. They're meant to be the best. They're meant to be better than the Invincibles. They're meant to be better than Man United's 08. They're meant to be better than Chelsea.
Let me give you one question. Let me give you one question. How would you feel with McTominay and Fred at centre half?
Because
that's
we had Fred and Pereira in the double pivot.
Hold on. There was a time where we had Carrick and Fletcher doing centre back, so we've been there and done it, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, and we came.
No, but that's one of the greatest manager in football history. Come on, man, like, you're debating Ferguson.
You're becomes a bad boy.
Come on, man, that's right. And you're telling me
that guy.
Come on, man, behave.
He becomes a bad boy.
Yeah, but he's not regular. Now, come on, man. Let's not joke around.
But he's not Fabinho at the back. And Matic.
I know, but come on, you got Henderson at centre half now. Come on,
for 2 games, Matic was there for the rest.
Yo, I hear the point. I hear the point in terms of the missing, but everybody gets injured. Man City, I didn't have Kevin De Bruyne, right? Who bagged about 19 assists the season before. They still won the league. Man, were missing Aguero for the half of that season as well. They still won the league without Aguero. They didn't have Lampard last season, no one felt sorry for them. They didn't have Kevin De Bruyne for a long pause. You didn't have Son and Kane for large pause. No one felt sorry for you.
I'm not saying anyone needs to feel sorry for us. I'm not saying anyone needs to feel sorry.
But when it's other teams, they don't get mentioned. When Man United have Pogba, we had Pereira and Fred in the double pivot with Jones behind them and Smalling. It doesn't get mentioned. But now it's the beloved Liverpool. Let's get listen, you drop points to Fulham. You drop points to Newcastle. You drop points to West Brom, and you drop points to flipping some other shit teams. I don't even know. Like, okay, I hear the Van Dijk thing's a big character, but every team has lost players. Like, Kale, come on, like, talk to me. Come on, this is ridiculous, isn't it? You're gonna get injuries. Like, he's a big miss. I'm not saying that, but the way their fans and the media lauded them last season, you're telling me 2 players out of that team that's going to be the best that we've ever seen is now this shit. Come on. That's ridiculous.
I mean, you say all that this shit, but then again, they've only lost, what is it, 1?
Okay, they're not shit.
They're not bad.
But they're not. They're using everything.
I don't have any sympathy for Liverpool right now because every team goes through this. I mean, you've mentioned all the clubs before and all the players that they've missed, especially recent seasons. But to say that they're not missing Van Dijk and that Van Dijk isn't such a key player for them, I think it's a bit. I don't think you're telling half truths there. I think Van Dijk.
I don't think they're missing him, but I just think it's an excuse. Like,
no, I don't say it's an excuse. I mean, you're talking about easily the best defender in world football right there. Anybody would miss him. I mean, if Barcelona got rid of Messi right now, they'd miss him. So,
yeah, but like, the reason I'm saying this right is. Man City didn't have Kevin De Bruyne and Laporte for large parts of last season. They missed David Silva for large parts. Your Spurs had no Kane and so on. Man United had no Pogba.
But what I'm saying is the result is it affected us. It affected us.
Yeah, that's
my point. You know what I mean?
There was no notion of these teams are playing a certain way because they haven't got these players. And also, as Kojo correctly said, Man United had Carrick and Fletcher under Fergie, and Klopp's going to be elite, or if not one of the best we've ever seen. So, like, Klopp
is one of the best. Klopp is one of the best that we've seen. So there's no argument for that. But I understand where you come from. If you need to look at who makes up the media, especially the ones that you listen to, Sky Sports. There's a whole bunch of Liverpool ex-players, BT, a whole bunch of Liverpool ex-players. So the narrative is always going to benefit Liverpool. It always has for a long, long time.
100%.
But the simple fact of the matter is, any team when they lose their key player is going to suffer. And I think we had Neil Atkinson on our podcast recently, and Mush as well.
Yeah.
And they were saying, if you look at the way that Liverpool are now set up, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was fantastic going forward last season, now has to sit a few paces back because he no longer has the confidence that he's got a world-class or the best defender covering for him. So it affects them going forward. It affects them defensively because everybody knows that you can now go at them. I mean, you could go at them before, but then again, there was a fear factor of Van Dijk that prevented players from finishing off the chances that they may have created. So I believe that they are desperately missing Van Dijk, but I also have no sympathy for them because this is what happens in football.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. Obviously, I was on that podcast as well, and they made valid points, and I hear that point. My counter argument to that is, I just don't think it's a valid excuse to lose. You know, look at this Newcastle team, by the way. They're dropping points against teams that they shouldn't be dropping. I think I tweeted something. Who did they just lose to? Burnley. I tweeted in jest saying, well, if Van Dijk was playing, they would have won 5-0 against Burnley. Come on.
It was no.
I think it's a mental thing personally.
I think Van Dijk's impact is as big as Bruno's to United. Before Van Dijk signed for Liverpool, they were positioned between 4th to 7th in the league. Klopp, that's what they were his positions before Van Dijk came. Van Dijk comes in January, they get to a Champions League final. Then they win the Champions League and come second in the league. Then they win the league at a counter by 18 points. Van Dijk gets injured, they're now 4th in the league. Can you this is what I'm trying to say. I'm literally just in terms of him playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do hear it. But listen, for me personally, long may it continue. Kojo, I'm being biased on it. I think we all know I am, but it is what it is, isn't it? Kojo, listen, let's just get your thoughts. To be fair, I'm just going to allow you to speak about Paul Pogba, really, to be honest. Obviously, Dubois, we'll get your thoughts as well, bro, on obviously my United perspective. But listen, we spoke about it briefly, but I don't feel like I give you enough time. Listen, how much credit does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? We don't normally give him credit, but let's be real in it. Here and there. But how much credit does he deserve, man? Because he's fully rescued his Pogba situation. Let's be real in it, because it was bleak, wasn't it? Really.
Well, I think I said to you literally on the review show that obviously they had a working relationship when Pogba was a youngster, so he kind of had that sort of connection with him already. So I think he knows how to talk to Pogba on a level. I think Pogba has a lot of respect for him. Pogba spoke about him a lot when whenever he was asked about Man United and his time as a youngster there, they spoke about him and what is it? And he spoke about how Solskjaer was sort of like a nice influence on his life as he was developing as a young player. And that young team, as a reserve team, was very successful with Pogba, Ravel Morrison, and the rest of them. So, he's come into this situation. And, bro, remember I said when we were talking about it, I said, listen, agents talk. Let the manager and the player just do their thing collectively and then let their football do the talking on the pitch. And that's what's happened. Pogba hasn't had to come out and say anything. He did that little people talk because one media newspaper said something. So he addressed that real quick. Raiola came to follow like the...
What do you reckon to this comment? Ali Man is best in the league, yeah.
He's one of. I don't know if he's the best because you can talk about in terms of man management, players that or teams that have good management.
It's got to be Jose, innit? Manto and Dembele for a walk in the park, man. That's elite, that. Do you know what I mean?
Not gonna lie to you, he needed it. So yes, he needed it. He couldn't, bro. If he came off the bench against Sheffield United last season, since that
he was tired.
He was tired, so he needed it. It was good exercise. That goal he
scored, by the way, it's not even been spoken about. No, that's outrageous.
But it was a beautiful goal as well. Beautiful goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Pogba. No, at the end of the day, Solskjaer and him have a good relationship, and you can see that there's no problem between the two. And Pogba and then they don't have a bad word to say about each other. So you see that on the pitch. Pogba is now, thriving. Even though at Anfield he should not have played as a right winger. I have no idea what that was about. And earlier this season he was playing as far back as Maguire was, which made no sense either. Again, but he's putting back in a good position. Matic is doing his job behind him. McTominay and Fred, they're just there. So he's done his thing. Both of them, and I'm happy. Pogba's performing. Solskjaer is getting results, and that's why I've asked for really as a manager. Even though I still did want him out because he didn't fulfill my 5-game demands.
It's not,
at the time. Huh?
Has he still not done it? Surely.
No, he's done it, but it was supposed to be in a 5-game period, not 5 games plus. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, no, he's top of the table, so there's nothing to complain about. So this is a big win as well. And a little one quickly, just to before you move on. I felt so sorry because you were talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold recently, and right now actually, you're talking about him sitting back and because he doesn't have much confidence. The guy left Reece Williams on his ones, left him for dead.
Bro, we said the guy told us this yesterday, man.
Bro, the kid was on loan at Kidderminster. They're not even in the Vanarama Conference. They're in the North Division. And they left him for dead. Of course, Rashford's going to kill him. Any good striker or winger knows that you go for your weakest opponent and you end them constantly. So if Trent, when you order Virgin van, oh wow, wow. Right, I feel sorry for him. It's stuff like that.
Yo, that is peak.
I have to look at Trent. I have to look at Klopp, and I have to look at another person. I have to look at actually is James Milner. James Milner offered no protection whatsoever at all. He kept going to Robertson's side. I'm like, Robertson doesn't need your help like that. Like, you should be looking after this kid.
What about man like Thiago, coach? Are we still on the agenda or what?
What, Marcus Houston? No, lie. A lie. And that's why I felt sorry for Reece Williams because people were calling him Rizzle Kicks. Like he was getting it everywhere. But I felt sorry for him because he was left for dead. At some point, you realised it. Rashford went there, and then at some point, Pogba started drifting to that side as normal. Luke Shaw was training in the fun, and then Cavani started draining him as well. There was no help from Thiago. There was no help from Alexander-Arnold. There was no help from Milner. There was no help from Fabinho. The only time Fabinho was there was when he committed the foul, which led to the winning goal. So, I felt sorry for that kid. I actually really felt sorry for him. And you have to question the players around him, the more experienced. And more importantly, you have to go into Klopp as well, because surely in that first half, you should say to the players, look, all right, cool. We're going to have to readjust a little bit. I think, Milner, you sit deep, help him along that side. If Trent goes forward, just cover, help him out, because he's playing as a left back. So maybe
it was Thiago going across, which I didn't understand.
Thiago's not. Thiago.
He was 1v1 against Rashford, and Rashford puts it through his legs, and he hacks him. I just don't get why he's not Thiago.
I think the criticism on Thiago is I think it's stupid, to be honest.
Oh, yeah,
you watch him, you know what I mean? He does what he was brought to do. Do you know what I mean? He can't defend. That isn't his strength.
It reminds me of Scholes in that sense,
Yeah, his strength is technical ability, passing the ball back and forth. Passing possession, 90+%. Do you know what I mean? Every game.
Yeah, but that's what he's passing. But that's the thing, though. If you're gonna put him in a number 6 position, knowing what Fabinho or Henderson does for you in that role, if you put Thiago in that role, knowing that he doesn't do the same job, why would you put him there? Put Milner there. Milner has the engine. He has the defensive experience. He plays a left back. He plays a right back. Sometimes for Villa or City when it was needed. So why not help him? Why not put him in that position? And
what about Keita? What about Keita? Where's the godsend? Where's Keita, man? Like, where is that guy? I'm not even
joking. To coin one of my favorites. I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I mean, actually, no. I think your question is a really bad one. This looks like it's my problem, and it's not my problem, and I am sorry.
The thoughts in terms of what are your thoughts in terms of, is it a big win for Manchester United, or do you just see it as a cup game against your rivals? You just slap them, just standard thing. You know what? Chelsea know everything about it. Beating Arsenal 4-1 in the final and all that good stuff.
I'm sorry. Recently, who won the final, please?
Hold on. But what do you reckon? Is it a huge win for Manchester United? Kish said earlier that Man United saw Liverpool early in the league. Very dead game, 0-0. This was a good game, to be fair. I was enjoying it actually for once. Do you think it was a good win for Manchester United in that sense?
Yeah, it was a big win. I mean, some people will say it's only a cup competition, but I mean, confidence-wise, that's going to do Manchester United a lot of good. I mean, you're sitting top of the table, and now you've beaten Liverpool. I mean, that's only going to do you good, I think. I mean, one thing I'm actually really impressed with is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, how he's turned it around. But I think one big thing about how he's turned it around compared to, say, Frank Lampard's situation and how he's been sacked is if you look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his backroom stuff, he's got Phelan and Carrick. I mean, experience. We're talking about experience. Anir behind him and supporting him. Compared to Frank Lampard, we've got Jody Morris, who, in my opinion, is a clown the way he's handled the whole situation. I mean, he's been on social media trying to joke around, coming at Jose, doing all these stuff. I think on his Instagram bio now he's changed it to some motivational quote. It's embarrassing.
I've seen that. Oh my god, so
Yeah,
cringe.
it's crazy how that's stark difference. And then you also have Bruno Fernandes, who's inevitable. You've got that player who can change situations within the blink of an eye. So you've got those two big differences, and that's why I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has transformed you, I guess, since the start of the season. But yeah, I think that win is going to it's going to do you a lot of good in terms of confidence. And I think especially there was doubts around your defense, but now if you sustain this form, I can see it being a title challenge. To be honest.
Bruno is Thanos. That's who he is.
Yeah.
Bruno is Thanos. Kale, you can roll your ass all you want, but when he clicks them fingers, when the free line up for that free kick,
when he clicks the fingers from the set piece or a penalty spot, absolutely. When it's
exactly.
Exactly.
I'm gonna claim it.
Yeah, because it's hard.
Yes.
Listen, speaking of free kick specialists, let's talk about your beloved Willian and Arsenal. You've rolled me up beautiful. Listen, oh, the boy. Listen, we're gonna do the first signing of the season, surely. For Kale, bro. Let's start with a bit of positives. You signed Odegaard, you've got rid of a bit dead. We'll start positive. To be fair to Arsenal, right? They've done brilliant business. I think he's a talent. I'm not even bantering. And they've done well in terms of finally getting rid of Mustafi. You just need that toxicity out of the dressing room, man. And obviously Socrates, fair play to him. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the current situation with Arsenal? I know you lost to Southampton, but it's FA Cup and it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, dressing room wise, getting rid of Ozil, getting rid of Socrates, getting rid of Mustafi might help to alleviate some tension. I mean, now they're out of the club, they're no longer Arsenal's problem. But then again, I'd say Socrates, Orba's boy. Ozil was Orba's boy. So the way Kolasinac as well, Orba's boy. So the way they dealt with that, how is that going to mentally affect their key player? It's all up in arms. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Odegaard, it's a great bit of business, but then again, he didn't play Ozil he didn't want to play Ozil in that number 10 role. He doesn't want to play number 10, and he's signing Odegaard. I mean, it's great. It's a great signing. I think he's a wonder kid. Obviously, that's the title that he's had for a while now because he's been around for ages. Will it work at Arsenal? It's a tough situation to come in. I mean, we're not exactly playing the best football, not exactly winning, and a lot will be put on his shoulders considering that our youngsters are pretty much our key players right now. So I'm not sure how that will help him in terms of confidence. But it's a great, if you take everything outside of what's going on with Arsenal, I'll take context out of it. It's a great signing. If we can get him that locked down into a transfer and a contract for years to come, I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a quality signing as well. It's interesting you've spoken about obviously the camp position with not wanting to play Ozil. Smith Rowe's been an absolute revelation, man. It really has, like, huge credit to him. I think the Croydon, De Bruyne and all that good stuff. I quite like there's got a ring to it. Kish, what do you reckon in terms of Arsenal, their current situation? You seem like the fans are starting to trust the process. They're kind of weaving out the bad egg, so to speak. Kale's not there. David Luiz needs to go, by the way. He's another one that
he's gonna be locked down to another year. So don't worry about it.
I can't wait, man. Obviously, William with another 2.5 years left. Beautiful. Kish, what do you reckon?
I think first and foremost, the one thing that we've learned from the players that have been let go is the board are fully behind Arteta. I mean, they won't. You can see in the past, particularly with Ozil, that Wenger let him off a lot of the time. Even though he knew that he wasn't training the best at times. Emery as well. They chose Ozil over Emery in the end, if you think about it. To be honest, so the one thing you can definitely say is Edu and the board are 100% behind him, because I think they've let go of these players on a free. They've terminated their contracts, and the amount they paid for them, it's a huge amount. So. But I suppose they're thinking that's 700-800K worth of wages that are now saved for them that they can use on fresh signings. Odegaard for me is a no-brainer. Fantastic signing. I don't know if you guys watch much of La Liga, but last season at Sociedad he was unbelievable. He was fantastic, and to be fair, Sociedad have really missed out because him and David Silva in that centre midfield would have been disgusting. Like honestly,
I'm so happy Arsenal signed him.
I know he was. He's
in the Europa League,
he's a really good player. The way I see it, to be honest, is the fact that he's a sign until the end of the season, stopgap, and then they'll have the fund in the summer to get a proper cam, to buy, or even if it could be Odegaard, which I doubt Madrid would let him go, but you never know. But yeah, I think it's an absolute fantastic sign. I think, and it also shows the board, and it must show the fans that he was dead on certain to go to Sociedad, and it took one phone call.
It was Arteta's pull, wasn't it?
To convince him to. So again, that's he must be playing every game because he wouldn't. There's no way Odegaard would have chosen Arsenal over Sociedad if he didn't give him these promises. So he must be doing something. But then on the other side, Kale, this is a question for you. Do you think he's still going to start Smith Rowe then? Because surely
Smith Rowe's also
position. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, though. It's probably it's a good position for him to be in, and that's probably the benefit. He's finally got choice going forward now. I think Saka's going to start definitely. I think.
Yeah.
Or that's the question: will Alba start or will Lacazette start?
We don't know what's happening with him. Because obviously it seems like he's had some family.
As well. Yeah. So for now, Lacazette will start. On the left, Martinelli. What's going to happen to him? That's the question.
Exactly.
What I think he should do, I think he should move Smith Rowe to the center, play him next to Partey, so he gets some sort of protection going forward. So I think he can fit all of them in. It all depends on how he wants to play football, because we all know that Arteta is quite pragmatic in the way that he's played his football recently.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this signing will inspire him as much as it's inspiring Arsenal fans to go be a bit more adventurous.
Do you understand the squad selection again in the FA Cup? Because I thought that was ridiculous, in my opinion. You ain't going to win the league. Europa League is still quite far away. Do you know what I mean? Would you not thought that FA Cup would have been the one way he could have still gone for it again?
I feel like it's a weird one. I feel like a lot of people that don't like him kind of dogpiled on the FA Cup team selection. I mean, these are a lot of players that everybody wanted to see. I mean, Pepe played. A few key players of yesteryear. I mean, of previous teams played. Yeah. They were experienced enough to kind of grind out a result. I mean, 1-0 kind of flattered us, but I didn't expect going into that game that we would come out anyway going through in that tournament. I thought we were always going to get knocked out against Southampton. So regardless of the team selection, I think if he played the full team and they lost, that would have done much more damage to the confidence of the team.
Probably just covered his own back in it, really, because obviously you got us. I believe it's us next, is it, in the league for you guys? We got Man United Saturday, so you guys always turn up against us. I'm not going to banter you because I can't be asked now. Listen, we always lose, man. What's going on? That's the problem right now. We always lose to shit teams. Dubai, what are your thoughts regarding Arsenal, bro? Obviously, then Koji will wrap it and obviously go through the worst signing of the season and the rest of it. What are your thoughts, bro?
I'm annoyed because we revived their season. It was our game that sort of was the turnaround for them. And the thing is, they're doing well in terms of, I think, based off what they were doing before we played them. And one thing I've actually been impressed with Arsenal is their youth products. You're talking about Smith Rowe. I think he's been really, really good. And it's the fact that they used quite a relatively young team against us, and it was those young group of players that sort of sparked the revival. So I think in the future, especially if Odegaard comes and makes it permanent as well, then they could be a real force in the future. And I think they have talents which haven't broken through yet, which also could come in. If they keep hold of Balogun, I think they've got in their youth system. If he
doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's what I've seen his post as well. As soon as they lost to Southampton, he posts comps himself. I mean, I think they've got a lot of talent there. If they get it all right, I think Arsenal can be a force, especially Saka. I think the way he's come in and contributed, at the moment, it seems to be a process which, again, can pull up. Was it Chelsea? They're back in Manchester.
I can't see it.
West Ham
away from Lingard.
Yeah, shit. I forgot about that. We'll talk about it in a second. Sorry. I listen. Saka's been absolutely fantastic. It really has. Him and Smith Rowe, like a credit, like really credit. Like it's good to see it. Just obviously, I don't want to see Arsenal do well as a rival, but it's good to see young players do well, man. You can't help but be happy for them. At the end of the day, these men have come through the ranks and they've stepped up, man, when they really needed them. But boys, in terms of moving forward for Arsenal, what are your expectations of them this season? Do you think they could? I was just watching Troops' podcast. I don't know if you guys watched that or not, but he has Zara, who's obviously the younger lads. If Zara was saying that Arsenal could finish in top 4/top 6. The boy, what do you reckon? What's your expectations of Arsenal?
Zimbabwean time. That's what that guy is, man. There's no way.
To be fair though, I mean, I wouldn't be totally surprised in the sense that, I mean, it wasn't so long ago we were saying Arsenal were getting relegated, they would be able to get out of their sort of poor form, and then within 3 games they were sort of catching up on us, and then we were realizing we're becoming the so-called Arsenal of the media, and now the tables are turned. So I mean, I wouldn't put it past Arsenal to finish sort of Champions League, Europa League spots. It'd be a big task considering the teams above them and how well they're playing. But I would like, with the way football's moving this season, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Fair enough. I personally think they'll probably accept 8, like just to be out of Europa League, have a fresh season. I don't know what Caleb, what do you reckon? Would you be happy with that? Or not happy? Obviously, that's the wrong word, isn't it? But in terms of not having European football altogether, because I can't. Well, you're not getting Champions League. I don't even know why I'm stuttering. You're not getting Champions League. It's whether you want Europa League or not. Would you want it or not?
Not really. I think that it just spreads our team out far too much. I think we're very tired. Like, a lot of teams are very tired. No, it's not really an excuse, but I think we're tired of Thursday nights as well. So I didn't want Europa League this year, but we won the FA Cup. So it swings and roundabouts. But then again, if we could, I think what Arteta's trying to do is he's trying to go for the Europa League, which is kind of tough this year because there's a lot of good teams in that tournament. But I don't know. I think if we get Europa League again, it's gonna just hinder us.
Oh, fair enough. And listen, I'm gonna finish off with worst signing this season. We did have a couple of others, but probably not gonna have time to do all 3 because obviously I know Spurs are playing right now, and everyone wants to watch that massive clash. Coach, I'm gonna start with you first and foremost. I'm gonna throw this in. I probably should have said this at the start, but you can't say someone that's been mentioned. So this should be interesting. So worst signing of the season. We'll do biggest flop next week. Worst signing of the season, Coach. What do you reckon? What are you going for?
Stuck between 2. 1, I don't blame. 1, I completely blame. Stuck between Brewster, not his fault, was not going to score goals at Sheffield United.
Okay, shout.
And Willian for somehow being the worst despite being a free transfer. That is history making right there. I like Brewster, so it's Willian. I think.
Right, so you're going Willian, yeah?
Yeah, I think Dubois would understand more than anyone.
Listen, we got to get your thoughts on this. Dubois has brought his own music back straight away. What are your thoughts, Willian? We're signing a season.
I've never seen a free signing. I've never seen a free signing rob a club before. It's crazy. I mean, every Chelsea fan warned the Arsenal fans what was coming. This guy, he uses a purple patch just before his contract runs out, and he turns into Prime 9 for a few games, and then he'll go back to his usual self. He does it every time. So I mean, I would feel sorry, but we did warn them. I can't lie. So I mean, it's a fair shout.
You've got to remember though, he got 3 assists against Fulham, so I think you're kind of being a bit harsh because he was the best player in the league at that point. He was the best signing of. At that point, if they did what Donald Trump says and stop the count after Fulham, he would have been signing a season. I think you're being potentially harsh. Kids, what do you reckon, William? What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, I was torn between 2 players, and one of them was actually Bale. To be honest, I'm not going to lie.
That's mine. Bale was mine.
Well, I think the only reason why I'll give it to Willian just for that is because the fact that Bale's not been injury-free in about 20 years, and he's not been in the Premier League for 7 years, whereas Willian has literally come straight from Chelsea, fully fit, Premier League, first game, 3 assists, all the excitement, and then does absolutely F all, to be honest. So, and plus he got a signing on bonus. He's on about 200k a week. I've got to give it to Willian. Yeah, I've got to give it to Willian.
Right. We got two Williams. I said you can't say the same player, but it's difficult when he's been that shit. So, Kale, we'll come on to you. Come on, Kale. Listen, you got to back William. Go for someone else. Who are you going for?
Usmaan, I can't do that. It has to be William.
I'm shocked that none of you mentioned the Chelsea player. I'm really surprised.
No. My mind is thinking.
Kale, come away from William. You can think of a Chelsea. Oh, look, he just mentioned Bale, man. That was mine, actually.
Part of me's thinking Werner. There's Willian as well. There, can I? If contracts are extended, can I use them? Because David Luiz is there. Rob Holding is also there.
You got
So there we go.
Go on, I'll let you have the contract extension.
Deadwood XI.
There we go. Yeah, contract extension. David Luiz. There we go. That's the worst signing of the season.
Oh my God, Duboy, what are you saying? Are you going for an Arsenal player? Are you going for Chelsea, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I would have said Willian, but because they've already been said, I'll go for a Chelsea player. But it's probably not the one you'd expect. I'd go for Ben Chilwell.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I still think he's had a decent season.
I think he's been overlooked how poor he's been, especially recently. And against Leicester, he was playing against us. On my mum's life, he was playing against us. He might as well have been a Leicester shirt.
He's playing against us.
That guy.
You went from Alonso to Chilwell.
I've never been a big fan of him, to be honest, but
yeah. Interesting. Right,
it's trash versus garbage at this point, to be honest, in my opinion.
Can I just say, it is shocking that a free transfer and a loan signing and contract extension are the three people that we've gone to for worst signing of the season.
Mine's between two people. It's the same reason why, actually.
Can I just say though that they all play in London, so that's kind of peak.
Yeah, mine that's kind of peak. Mine play in London as well. Mine was between two players for the exact same reason, because of the expectations. And the thing, in case you made a good point on Bale, like at the end of the day, he's just a glorified golf player, so I can't really hate on him too much. He's golf player, then football, then Wales, then Real Madrid, isn't it? Listen, it has to be Timo Werner for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm just gonna throw this caveat in before, right? He's going to come good. I believe in this guy's ability a lot, actually. I'm always defending him on the group chats, and now they've got a proper manager. Well, I say proper manager. I say that loosely. They've got a manager that will believe in him, put him in his right position, I believe, with Havertz behind him, which they've been dominating in Germany. I'm expecting good things from him. So as it stands, on January the 25th, my worst signing of the season is Timo Werner, but I won't be surprised if he bags 10 to 15 goals towards the end of the season. The other one has to be Gareth Bale, really, isn't it? Because what the fuck, like Kish was talking to me about Bale being, hashtag Bale bike. These man thought it was Paul Pogba coming back to Man United or something like that, but they tried the hashtag. Wow. They didn't work, and obviously it is what it is. Kish, I'm surprised he didn't go for Bale, because you thought he's going to win you the Ballon d'Or. Like, what was it?
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's just proved that his legs are gone, unfortunately. At one point, he was one of the best players in world football. I can't deny that, but the injuries have really taken its toll, and you can now see why Zidane's not really been playing him for the last 2 seasons, because... Yeah. He just doesn't justify playing, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Kish, I can't even lie.
Kish, the way it really dawned on me, because I had like a period of defending Bale because he wasn't getting any sort of game time, even when he was fit under Zidane.
Yeah.
But that game he played against Marine, when he came off the bench here and he took one of the most pathetic shots I've ever seen. I was watching that, I was like, you know what, man, them in the garden, you shouldn't even be standing in there. I wouldn't even pay for that. So to watch it in your garden for free is not even good enough.
When I gave up the first game against West Ham, when he gassed after coming on for about 10 seconds, like I was like, yo, you gassed after. It was literally his first run with the ball, and he was like Anderson with the oxygen tank. He was out like, yeah, he's finished. Send him back, please. That 300k, we need it. I'm telling you.
Kale, I know you know a lot of Spurs fan, mate, but there's Sam Bale on the low. These ones were talking Audi Cup 2.0, Audi Cup back to back. They were talking about everything.
They were about titles as well. To be honest, I was scared when he came. To be honest,
levels and that. Oh shit, man! You love to see.
Listen, isn't it over, man? There's still belief. There's a couple of games. That's it.
Do we have to go? Because I'm feeling these flops and all these things, but I'm enjoying this.
Obviously, if one of you needs to dip, that's completely facts. I did say that.
It's that bad. I'm literally airing Usmaan all the time. He bought me a Bale Spurs top for my birthday, which was in October. I'm like, next time. I get it next time. I'll get it next time.
Halloween, by the way. His birthday is Halloween. and it's January. To buy this guy, I bought this guy with my own pocket. I bought him. He goes, I go to him, what do you want for your birthday? I'm gonna buy you a speech. Whose name do you want on the back? He goes, is that what a stupid question? I can show you the text. He goes, what a stupid question? What do you mean? He goes, it has to be better, obviously.
Every time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get back. I'm busy. I'll get back to you.
He's never collected it.
Yo, I'm busy. Next time.
Mom literally lives about 2 minutes from my house, right? He goes, you know what? I'm a bit busy, you know. Like,
yeah, I'm busy.
I'm only been busy Oh, God. Yeah, okay, go on, then we can do it. Obviously, I wasn't sure if people want to, I need to head off. Obviously, if you need to, by all means, that's cool. We'll do biggest flop of the season, so that's not obviously someone who's just signed this season. That's just in general. Kojo, we'll start with you then. As your son, unless you need to think about it.
Biggest flop. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Steve Bruce.
No, come on now. Everybody knew he was gonna fail.
I'm gonna tell you why.
What?
Sheffield United Football Club have won 3 games this year. 2 in the FA Cup, 1 in the Premier League. Guess who was the unfortunate winner of that jackpot? That man, it got to the point where, like, obviously me and Kel said that he was not gonna succeed there. He's not the right fit for them, all of that. But
who do you think is? Lampard or Eddie Howe, what do you reckon?
Oh my God.
They'll go for Lampard, actually.
They actually would go for Lampard.
I think Eddie Howe's a good shout for. I don't know what his relationship with Wilson and Fraser is, though. I don't know if there was beef there.
Oh, yeah, shoot, yeah.
Obviously, they were brilliant for him, weren't they?
But yeah, no, listen, the guy's just not good, man. He's just not good. He went on a rant as well, saying about they hadn't finished in the top 10 for the last 5 years, and there's someone underneath under the comments said literally position 10th, 7th, 10th. I was thinking, you don't even know your own club. He supports them.
Hold on, coach.
Go on.
Wycombe 1, Tottenham 0.
What are you saying, bro?
Oh no.
Fred,
25 minutes in it. 25 minutes in this. It means I'm gonna have to watch it ASAP, innit? I have been looking at the text and I ain't said it because of obvious reasons. Bale's missed 2 sitters apparently. So obviously I don't want to.
Listen, can I change, man? I'm forgetting.
Apparently, he's missed a 1-on-1 from 5 yards. So I don't really want to. I don't want to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh shit!
I didn't want to say that. Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously. I was just hoping that he'd score and then I could show you all, but he missed a 5-yard sitter.
Oh no!
Damn.
But yeah, to be fair, it is the mighty Wycombe, so it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is big Wycombe. Come on, man! Like they've got Akin Fenwa. Come on, man! Like, that's beast.
Oh yeah, no, he is, isn't it?
But yeah, Steve Bruce is mine all day long. To be the one person in this league to lose to that Sheffield United, you deserve it forever in the rest of your life, bro. I don't want to see him in this league ever again, by the way. This should be his last job. This should be his last job. No, genuinely, this should actually be his last job. His time is done. It's over. Him and the Allardyce system, man. Time to go. If them two get relegated, it's time to go. If them two get relegated, oh my days! Listen, the barbecue I'm throwing.
Yeah, and Bruce will be there for that kebab.
Lawless has just messaged me now saying about Lingard. He just DM'd me saying, I don't want Lingard unless my not pay his wages. That's interesting. To be fair, I can see potentially. Kale, who are you going for biggest flop of the season? What are your thoughts, bro?
I'd say Timo Werner.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody had the expectation because he was a prolific goal scorer in Germany, but then again he played in that 2 where he had somebody doing his dirty work for him, and he just hasn't had that in the Premier League. But then again, is that he's a striker, is he not? So he should be doing the dirty work himself. Then again, it's not like he's not been in positions where he could score. We've all seen those chances that he's missed, and he's missed some absolute sitters. So I think Timo Werner is the biggest flop. And to counter your point, I don't think he'll become good. I don't see. I don't think it'll work for him in the Premier League.
You've never had faith in him, as you say, from day one.
Not the Premier League. No, I always feel like he works in a 2, and nobody's going to play that unless it's Wolves. But then again, you need to be Portuguese to play for Wolves.
So my brother's put Steve Bruce on fair long coach. Biggest flop the whole Chelsea team. Boy, what do you reckon? He's gone for your boy Werner, man. What are you saying?
I don't want to come for Werner. I do agree that he should be playing in a 2, but if if we're going to base it off that alone, yeah, I think he's been a flop in terms of he's been utilised completely incorrectly, and it's not as if he could do any. I mean, yeah, he's missed chances he should be scoring, but
Yeah.
if he's not playing alongside the target man, like, I mean, it surprised me because we have Giroud, so you should
This
be
is- look,
self-explanatory.
Can you please? I know I know on Twitter you literally love Giroud, and I think you actually replied to it recently, if I'm not wrong. But you always go on about Giroud. I don't understand why they've not played together once. Like, surely at least Giroud is the perfect link-up man in the world. He plays for France for a reason, and he'd suit Werner so perfectly. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm a massive advocate for Giroud for that reason. He does the work that people don't see or don't appreciate as much, and I think the fact that he starts France every game proves it. Really, I mean, some will say that he's had a love affair with Deschamps or something, but it's rubbish. I mean, he provides a lot to the team, and I don't think he's been utilised at Chelsea. And I think even Tuchel's not going to use him, so it's quite sad, really.
Yeah, fair. I get that. Which player are you going for then? What are your thoughts?
But I don't want to say Werner. I'm going to say Aubameyang. He signed the 30 and then he just.
That's what I was going to go for.
He got his money and he left. I think he's better than that, to be honest. He's shown that he's a top goal scorer. I'm surprised he just disappeared, but I don't know. I think he'd be a big flop for others, being honest.
Yeah, to be fair, I was going to go for Aubameyang actually, but now that you mention him, I think I know what I've got. Someone's just texted me on one of the groups. I called you're in. I don't know if you've seen it. Someone's just putting Captain's Bailey's wank. They've just put that cap. That's all. I don't know if he's missed another thing. But Kish, what do you reckon? Who's your biggest flop of the season?
I mean, if it was manager, I'd have to say Lampard, but it's not.
You can say manager. Just said manager.
I'm going to stick to a player. I'm going to go for Pepe, Arsenal. For me, still 70-odd million. Last season,
allow it, man.
Last season was supposed to be his bedding season. This season, my guy, like, listen, there's an excuse for not getting opportunities, but there's no excuse for not working for the team. The guy literally just stands there looking at his own development. I feel like he looks at the ball and he looks at his achievement. It's weird. He just looks at it. He doesn't move. It was a bit like it's like Ndombele for us last season. That game against Burnley where he used it and it's like, it's life. You get what I mean? Like I don't get it. I don't get the purpose of Pepe. I'll be honest. Like the more I see him, the more I'm like, you are such a waste of talent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's such a waste. So for me, it has to be Pepe.
So not Gareth Bale then. Okay, fair enough. Right, okay. You know what? You've said two of the players I was going to say. I was going to say Aubameyang. That was my initial one. Then it was going to be Pepe. But now that I've actually thought about it properly, it has to be one of these two people. I don't think anyone's going to disagree. One is Trent. Trent's got to be in the conversation because for what he's never been close. And the second one, it hurts me to say it, but it has to be Martial. It has to be. He's been shocking. Yeah. Like, and the Kojo knows I defend Martial to the hills. And if I'm saying this, bro, look, fair enough. Look, he's had a rough. Since that red card, I don't know what's happened to him. But Trent and Martial, right? People expect, obviously, Aubameyang. I'm gonna give Aubameyang his dues because I feel like he's been in the shit arse team. To be fair to him, and he's not. I think there's a misconception, right, with Aubameyang this season is he's not getting the chances. Like if he's missing a lot, look, don't get me wrong, I'll slag him off for banter all the time, innit? But if I should look at it like a level head to find, he's not missing chances. He's not getting any. Like he doesn't get any chances. The one that he scored, I can't remember if it was against when Saka and Nketiah got the assist. Saka ran past that 5 players, played it to Nketiah. Nketiah passed it to Aubameyang. Took one touch, finessed it, bottom bins. Bro, he hadn't scored in God knows how many games yet, and he just scores straight away like that. Like he's not been getting chances. And I know he missed that open net, then obviously he redeemed himself. But he's not really missing. Like Werner's missing chances. Like you can't really make the case for. I don't know what Kale thinks, but it has to be like Martial. Yeah, definitely in the competition. I'm not gonna. But if I'm being on terms of honest, it has to be Trent for me. It has to be. Or Mane. Like Mane's been shit as well. Like compared to what he's going to be like in like top. I'm gonna throw Trent on that, and I'm gonna see what you lot say. So, what do you reckon? Is it worth a shout?
Yeah, they are worthy shouts. Trent has been poor, man. He's been poor. I heard what that man was saying about his defensive responsibilities being more, but bro, you're a right back. Of course, your responsibility should be more. That's your job. Your primary objective is to defend. And as for Martial, bro, what I'm gonna say to you is welcome to the promised land, man. You finally made it. I told you, man. I love the guy. I love the guy too, man. I love the guy too,
I'm
bro.
not saying Martial out. I'm just saying he's been shit this season, which he has. Like,
I know. I'm just praising the fact that you gave the shout. You know what I'm saying? I respect it because he has been poor, and it's true.
Obviously, I know I've got a Martial FC agenda and all that, but no, you can't be blind. I think
you know what it is though, Cody? You can have sympathy for Martial. You can have sympathy for Martial because of the way he is. But Trent, you can't, because have you seen Trent on Twitter? He's the most annoying guy I've ever seen. Like he copies the Mbappe celebration. He acts like a twat on Twitter all the time. So the fact that he's struggling, I love it so much. Like, honestly, it gives me energy in the morning. I wake up thinking, do you know what? Trent's having a bad day today, so I feel good. Do you know what I mean? I get energy out of that. Do you know what I mean? Like against Tottenham when he came out with the thing, the best team won and all that shit, I was like, just piss off.
Yeah,
honestly,
he did take
I honestly, it gives me so much satisfaction that he's struggling so hard. Like it's great. Honestly, it's a great day.
Wow. I've got to ask you because obviously I've took Trent in there. You know I'm going to ask you, Reece James or Trent, man? Come and talk to me. Chelsea fans think Reece James. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going Reece James. I think Reece James can defend. Reece James can attack. Reece James physical. He's got a lot going for him, and also I just dislike Trent completely. I don't even know. I think this season he's been exposed, and also I know you said Martial, but one thing I would say is that he hasn't been in the spotlight in terms of being called out is because of how good Cavani's been. I love Cavani. I think the impact he's had on your United team when he comes on, he's always sharp, and even in limited opportunities, you look at a different team with Cavani. I think he's proved that, so I think that's why Martial's maybe been out of the spotlight. To be honest.
Yeah, no, that's a completely good point in terms of Martial. Cavani's just showing him up, basically. But, there's no shame in that. The guy's elite. Right, we'll finish off with the last one. Biggest shock of the season. This is kind of open to interpretation, really. It could be positive or negative. I'll let you guys just what you want to say. I say we've been quite negative, so maybe a positive. Obviously, we said we're signing of season biggest flop, so it's up to you. I'll let you decide. Coach, we'll start with you first and foremost. Who has been your biggest shock of the season? What would you go for?
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go for Man United. No, because I told you at the beginning of the season when I was asked what the expectation was I said I've got no expectations because I don't think we're doing a damn thing.
Yeah. And
we got popped by Palace at home. Everyone knows what happens with Spurs. Everyone knows what happens with Arsenal. Everyone knows what happened with Leipzig and PSG in the Champions League. But through that,
and that Turkish team,
Demba Ba, bro. Demba Ba. Oh, that was the worst. That we conceded against Istanbul is the worst goal I've ever seen.
Usmaan, I'm gonna beg you to just stop there because if you don't stop there, I'm gonna get involved and then my emotions come out and I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Kale, if you ever want to know how to trigger it, if you mention defense, you can't hack it. He sees red.
Oh yeah, I know that. That's easy.
He knows better than everyone. What 150 episodes of free midfield? Tell me one episode where I have complained about defense. I don't think I can. But yeah, just because despite all that, somehow we're first, and we're actually looking a lot more improved since that Champions League exit. So, if any Man United fan is going to come in here and tell me, "Oh yeah, I expected us to be in the title challenge and be first," I know you're lying to yourselves. No one did, and that's facts, So I would give it that. Yeah, I'll go United being top.
To be fair, that's not a bad shot, really. I don't know what the rest of the guy. Caleb, you were rolling your eyes, so I'm going to come to you first. What do you reckon about that as a shot?
Oh no, I knew. Coach would always say that. But I would say the biggest shock is Tottenham's title challenge blown up in their faces. But then again, it's Tottenham, so we all knew that was going to happen. On a serious level, Wolves. I think Wolves have shocked me.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Because of how poorly they've played. I mean, it's hard. There are excuses for them. Obviously, Jimenez being out for the whole season, them losing Jota, them losing Doherty, them losing a whole key core of players there. But yikes, man, it's been hard to watch sometimes. They're not playing the expansive, fast-paced football that I'm pretty sure Wolves fans have become accustomed to. And I really had faith in. I still have faith in Espirito Santo. I feel like he'll turn it around. But will he be given the time to? That's a big question because there may be a Portuguese manager that comes available soon. I'm not sure. Maybe if you catch my drift, that they might turn a few wolf heads.
Oh God! To be fair, Wolves know what, that is a very good shot. They've massively gone under the radar in terms of they're not. Look, I know they're not a big club, but no one's really mentioned them. I think Kish, you had them sixth on your predictions, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously, the Jimenez injury has really hurt them. So, boy, what do you reckon? Who is your biggest shock of the season? Obviously, like I said, open to interpretation, negative or positive. What are you going for?
Yeah, I'm stuck between two, and they're kind of linked, I'd say. Firstly, I'd say Southampton. I mean, compared to last season, especially after that 9-0. I mean, I don't really have to explain it, the way they've sort of looked completely different. And the other one is a player, is Højbjerg, going to Tottenham. He looks a real player. And I did not expect that at all, especially when he was at Southampton. I was actually trolling them for getting him. And now he's looking like one of the best. He's looking like one of the best DMs. So I'm being really surprised by that.
I feel like if Mourinho leaves, his form goes down the toilet. So, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no, that's a shout. Højbjerg's been absolutely fantastic. Kish, I suppose we'll get you to have your thoughts on him. He arguably has been one of the best signings of the season.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, we technically we only paid $3 million because we gave them our fullback. Can't remember his name. That's how much I forgot about.
Peters.
Yeah, Walker Peters. Yeah. So it was Walker Peters plus $3 million.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that for me.
To be fair, I think you'd take Walker Peters over Doherty right now.
Yeah, right now I would. Yeah, I can't even lie. But yeah, I think for me, the surprise of the season is between two. I'd say Villa definitely up there.
Yeah,
because they've done fantastic. But he has had the backing the manager again the second season. They've bought players to give them that, and the guy that they've just signed from Marseille, watch out for him.
Yeah,
15 million as well is a bargain in today's market. But for me, Lawless is going to be happy. West Ham, I never ever saw West Ham being where they are right now. If you told me at the beginning of the season the West Ham right now will be top 7, top 8 with a chance of getting European football, especially after last year, David Moyes as well. It's like the guys come back from the dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they've hardly bought anyone. I think
Kojo hates Moyes.
They only bought.
It has nothing to do with him. But continue. Sorry, please continue.
I think they only got Ben Rama, who again is a loan and then option to buy in the season. But the fact that he turned Antonio into a solid striker from, I think he was a winger or whatever, the team just seems to play quality attacking football, and defensively they look pretty good with Ogbonna, Fabianski in the net. It seems like a solid team. So, yeah, for me, so far, I'll be honest, I expected West Ham to be near the relegation zone again because they didn't spend anything. So I was like, it's going to be a tough one again, but fair play to them. Top 7, top 8 at the moment.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Those definitely be happy with that one. I've got a few honourable mentions as well. First and foremost, my biggest shock is that Jose Mourinho's not played attacking football, especially when they're 1-0 up and he goes defensive. That really thrown me off. I wasn't expecting that.
By the way, everyone's saying that Bale for snail, so obviously that kind of tells you where we're at right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, honest to God, you know how Dubai warned you Arsenal fans about Willian? I was warning Kishra about Jose Mourinho and his negative tactic, and he goes, yeah, but we've scored 4 goals in 3 games in a row, and we conceded 1 in that period. And I said, it won't last, bro. It just trust me.
You guys remember Blackchester United when it was all 4?
Hey, chill.
Oh, we've just hit the post.
Was it Bale?
Huh? No, it was the so-called big man winger.
The so-called hitting post.
Yeah, man.
That's progress.
Yeah, to be fair, I have lost a bit of respect for Mourinho, especially when he's playing Sissoko on the wings. Like that's a bit.
He's got a big team playing.
You know what I mean?
I didn't even realize your team is insane. Lucas Moura and Lamella Bell.
What's the lineup?
Lucas Moura, Lamella Bell, Winks, Sissoko, Davies, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Tanganga, Joe Hart, and that Moraes guy.
No, it is. We lost the game when I saw Sanchez in the starting lineup. It's finished.
It's only 1-0, isn't it?
He's not good at all. He has not progressed.
He had one game, good game against us, Kojo, sorry, in the Europa League for Ajax, obviously, when he was brilliant against us.
Do you know what it is though with us and Mourinho? Yeah, Mourinho, I have no doubt will win trophies at Tottenham. I've never been so.
I hope you win that final.
But I hate watching this football. It is so boring. Like honestly, I watch us. What we do is we play amazing. I sometimes hope that we score a goal like later because then I'm expecting us to still play good football. We score foot, and then that's it. It is literally back six. And I'm like,
told
oh
you.
my head.
I literally told you
My head.
word for word, and he wouldn't believe me. And he just
Literally.
bought. This is what
Harry Kane is a fourth centre back, and Son is a left wing back.
And
Case.
then it all unravels. The
Case, can I-
toxicity all unravels, and you're like, why the fuck am I still with it? Like, what's going on?
It was so
Jose Mourinho,
depressing to
told you,
watch
bro.
on my
From
dad's
the start,
life.
he
I
just
literally,
didn't
it's like watching a movie on mute. That is the best way to do it. It's like watching a movie on mute. It's peak, man.
Kish, what I'm gonna say is this: remember when we played them in the Europa League final, and we went there to not play ball at all, just long balls. Listen, for 90 minutes, I was sitting here like this. But actually, no, I lied. 88 minutes, I was like this.
And that was 3-0. And that was
exactly for 2 of those 90 minutes, man was doing. Come on, it don't matter when you get the trophy, bro. Listen, you won't care. In that excitement, you won't care. And plus,
I tell you what it was. I tell you what game broke me. I tell you the game that broke my insides. It was the game against Palace. 1-0 up, fantastic football. Defend for 80 minutes. Eze scores, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'll tell you what, we concede, we turn up now. And it's like, oh my God, are you doing my head in that? Wolves as well, we score within 2 minutes, defend for 85 minutes. It's like, what are you doing, my lad? Oh, I'm depressed.
Get used to it.
I'm depressed. Honestly, like,
extend his contract. But
look at Cahill just shout our team today. And you're telling me that my guy wants to play back seven. I'll give up. I've had enough.
Right, listen, I'm going to wrap the show. Let me do my biggest shock of the season. And to be honest, I think everyone's going to agree with it again. I've come with the players today. It's one player. Before the season, he was an okay player, but man has reinvigorated himself. He has gone from a decent player to bordering on elite because of his manager, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 100%. Man has gone from he is a bad boy striker now. Bad boy. Like, man jumping at Ronaldo. I don't know what's happened there. And that goal against Liverpool, that header, I had tears in my eyes, man. Chicago, watch that goal back. That one, that 2-2 where Dominic Calvert-Lewin violates him. But no, listen, it has to be Calvert-Lewin for me personally because he's genuinely made him into a proper top striker. So. Yeah, obviously no one's going to disagree because he's been bad boy. And he's got me a lot of fancy football points as well, so I love the guy. But listen, we're going to wrap it there. Let us know if you do watch this back in the comment section. I'll read all one of the comments and reply. Your biggest flop, your signing of the season, and all that good stuff, biggest shock of the season. As always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Before we go, just show love to the boys, Kojo and Kale. Listen, the people already know, but just in case, where can they find you?
Kale's looking at me because you do it, just do it. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud, Free Midfield, and on YouTube, Free Midfield Podcast, which is below. And Usmaan, I didn't forget this time. Footy says also.
Put it on.
I'll put it there finally. Footy says on YouTube.
It's kind of thing cut off though, so you kind of bottled it at the same time.
Yes! Bale!
Hey! Big Wickham, you know.
Give me that top. Get it!
Oh shit! The mighty Wickham. Bale's done it. He's finally delivered
Against the mighty Wickham. Come on!
Oh my God!
Someone just put a bit. Oh fuck's sake! I was enjoying that as well. So boy, you want that shirt in that case? And the boy, what are you saying? Where can they find you, bro?
Obviously, CFC Dubois on Twitter and also on YouTube and Spotify for podcasts. I believe you can find me there. But apart from that, thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed it.
Yes, love to see you. Welcome back anytime. Absolute pleasure. And last but not least, Kish, if you want the Bill shirt, obviously it's still here. Where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, just follow me, Keisha New, Instagram, Twitter, Vamos, because man like Bell's back on it. Do you know what I mean? Big way.
Listen, on that note, I'm going to wrap it. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Bloody hell. Let us know your thoughts on obviously everything we've discussed. And yeah, we'll be back next Monday, 7 p.m.